right, folks. Hey, I'm ready. I'm ready to rock and roll tonight. Get my calisthenics in and stretching and getting ready to deliver some incredible content for you tonight. Um, it's so interesting because when I spoke at 10x to 10,000 people, many of you have heard me. They were asking me, the night before, Coach, what song do you want to come out to 10,000 people? And I said, how about Apple Bottom Jeans? And they laughed and they're like, no, we can't do that. Right? We need a different song. And so I came out to Thunder, but that's one of my favorite songs, Flow Rida. Welcome to my house. My name's Coach Micheal Burt. I want to welcome you tonight to the webinar. Thank you so much for spending time with us tonight. Over 100 people signed up for this webinar. And I know the troopers, the people who are very, very, very serious are going to show up tonight. I'm actually down at my house in Seaside, Florida, and been having an incredible day today. So I'm so glad that you're with us. Thank you for sharing where you're from. I see right now about 47 people on the webinar. I'm also going to be introducing you tonight to Andy Garrison, who is on my publishing team, and Gabrielle Garrett, who is on my publishing team. And I'll be bringing them in tonight to let you know how we write a book so quickly. Okay, you're going to hear me talk a little bit tonight about my journey of writing books and why I think that everybody has a book inside of them. I have a very simple philosophy, and that philosophy is if life's worth living, and it is, life is worth writing down. And I believe just like everybody needs a coach in life, I believe everybody needs a book in life. And there's a very strong reason I believe that, but one of the number one reasons I believe that is because at 25 years old, unbeknownst to me, one of the smartest things I personally would ever do that would propel my career many years later was I sat down at 25 years old and I wrote my first book. And I didn't know the impact it would have. I didn't know how many people it would help. I didn't know it would open doors for me. But you're going to hear me say throughout the night that you don't need more money, you need more people. And the book gets you in front of people. And the book forces you to have a message. The message gets you in front of people. The people then can make their decision if they want to partner with you in some capacity through a product or service that you have to offer. But it was at 25 years old. If you pin me down and you say, Coach, go back in your career and pinpoint the one thing you did that kind of changed everything for you, it was to sit down at 25 years old and write the first book. Now, we don't even sell that book because, I think that the first book sometimes is not that good, right? My first book was average. We don't sell my first or second book. And it had value, but it was really my third book that got people's attention, a book called This Ain't No Practice Life. And it was my third book that really taught me how to write a book. And then 3 has now turned into 16. I am now negotiating a major contract with several different publishing companies on my 17th book called Flip the Switch, How to Activate the Prey Drive in You and Your People. So tonight, I'm going to go over 3 very important things. I'm going to go over self-publishing versus traditional publishing, and I will make an argument for both. Okay, I have signed 2 major publishing deals. I'm about to sign my 3rd major publishing deals. And out of 17 books, I have signed 3 publishing deals and self-published 14 books. Tonight, I will explain why. Why would I do one over the other? I'm also going to talk about how you test an idea to get your book moving in the right direction. And third, I'm going to talk about the ultimate secret to having a bestseller and why a bestseller is so important. So if you're out there tonight, you're seeing Gabrielle Garrett. She goes by Gabby Garrett. This is her email address, gabby@gabbygarrett.com or gabby@coachburt.com. And her number is 256-348-7248. Eric White on my team is going to be on here tonight, eric@coachburt.com. And Eric can put his cell phone number in. And there could be things that you want to do with me, whether partner with me or come to a coaching summit with me or do a publishing deal with me. And Eric will be able to help you tonight. And so when you think about this, let's see, Gabby, we got your email in there and we got your phone number in there for people to reach out and contact you should they have any questions. And Eric White will be eric@coachburt.com, and he will type in his information if you need anything from me. Okay. If you want to talk about a coaching program or you need anything from me. In this webinar tonight, I'm going to walk you through the benefits of self-publishing versus traditional publishing, give you testing ideas, and then ultimately the ultimate secret on how to make a bestseller and why that's important. Now, let me start by asking you some questions. Okay. These are big questions, right? You probably wouldn't be on here tonight if you didn't have a yes to these questions. Have you ever felt like you have a song to sing and you have people to sing that song to? Have you ever wanted to publish your own book? Do you believe that your life experiences would be incredibly valuable to other people? Okay. And then finally, how many of you have been deeply impacted by a book? How many of you, a book changed your life? When I was 18 years old, I had never read a self-help book in my life. And I went to a coaching clinic because I was a high school basketball coach. And the person there said, if you don't read another book this year, I want you to stop by the bookstore tonight on your way home and pick up a copy of The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. And that person said it. He was a mentor of mine. I went and I did it. Phil Mills, I went straight to the bookstore and I bought 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, and I bought First Things First, and I read that book. And it was complicated. It was deep. It had a deep methodology. Right. I didn't know the difference between a paradigm and a paradigma. Okay. And I'm reading the book and I'm like, oh man, this book is incredible. And if these are the habits of successful people, then dadgummit, I want to be successful. And I didn't just read the book. See, a lot of people read books, but I devoured the book. I learned those 7 habits at such a ridiculous level that those 7 habits become part of the fabric of my DNA. I didn't dabble with those 7 habits. I devoured those 7 habits. I decided that I would become a master of those 7 habits. And then I made up my mind that I would teach those 7 habits. Now, why is that important? Covey sold 32 million copies or more of The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. You may have a book in you that can sell 32 million copies. But if you don't sell 32 million copies, it doesn't mean that you can't help a lot of people and earn millions of dollars with a book, self-published or traditionally published. Hal Urban, high school teacher, writes a book for his kids called Life's 20 Greatest Lessons. He sells 1 million copies of that book out of his garage at $20 a book. Self-published. He's probably making at least $10, right? What is that? Man, $20 million for a high school teacher because he writes Life's 20 Greatest Lessons. So I want to thank you for investing in yourself. I want to thank you for spending time. It was that investment at 18 years old through Dr. Stephen Covey that my prey drive was activated. I made up my mind. I want to impact people like that dude does. I want to go around the world like that dude does. I want to write a best-selling book like that dude. And it was really at that moment that my prey drive was so activated through that investment that I then wrote down on my whiteboard in my house, man, when I grow up, I want to be the modern day Covey. That book and that man impacted me so much. I said, man, when I grow up, I want to be like that dude. Even cut my hair like that dude, right? So I want to thank you. I've now written 16 books. I'm working on book number 17. And I have a unique methodology to create books in less than 3 to 6 months. And that's important because some of you have been floundering with a book for so long. You've been thinking about it. You've been marinating on it. You've been praying about it. And you've got word. Like you've got the word. You're supposed to write the book. You've got people saying you've baked the cake. Now sell the recipe. You've got word. And we can't use the asset until we have the asset. Okay. And this is very, very critical. We can't use the asset until we have the asset. And that's really why I want to encourage you to write the book, because without the book, right? Without the book, then there's really There's really no asset that we can take to the marketplace. Now, some of you, I see Tony Barnes on here, have the book, and now it's time for you to figure out how to monetize the book. Like now you've got the concept, you've got the asset, but what you're missing is you don't know how to take the book and make money with it. And this is a major problem for a lot of people, okay, is that they've got the book, but they really don't know what to do with the book. If there's no monetization, that means, man, you got an asset, but you don't know how to make money with it, okay? Now, I want you to stay to the end. When we're finished tonight, you're going to have clarity about the publishing process. I promise you. Okay, and the motivation to get started. You're going to be introduced to my publishing team, and perhaps you want to let them help you write the book, start the book. A lot of people are turning to us to help them write the book through Monster Publishing for one reason, is they know the book will get finished. Okay, so who is tonight for? It's for anybody who wants to publish their own book. Okay, if you stay to the end, there's some bonuses for you, like I always have, some special bonuses for you if you stay to the end. Now, let me give you some struggles, Cynthia, that I've gone through. When I first started writing books at 25 years old, it was mainly because I had had 10 years of coaching experiences from 15 to 25. And I said, man, there's no manual. Like, why did I have to make all these mistakes? Why don't I write a book to help other people so they don't have to make mistakes? I didn't have a plan. I didn't have a structure. I didn't have an idea of what I was doing, folks. My first book was for coaches, but coaches didn't buy it. Now, you hear me say in my coaching program, A Monster Producer, you hear me say that there is no wasted movement. There is no wasted movement. You see, I wrote the book for coaches, but coaches didn't buy it. But let me tell you who did buy it. Business people bought it. And it forced me to have a message. And when business people bought my book, it got me in front of people. And people said, I want to partner with you. And people said, I want you to speak to my group of people. People said, I want you to coach my people. And it was there, every major coaching assignment I've ever gotten started with me speaking. I got many of the speaking engagements and get many of the speaking engagements because of the topics that I write on. So what I want to tell you is that the book forces you to get clear on the message. The message forces you to have something to say. What you have to say gets you in front of people, Phil Mills, and this is very important. So even if you write the book and you say, well, I don't know if the book's very good, okay? And I write books in very simple form. I have a big concept, flip the switch, how to activate the prey drive in you and your people. The book has X number of chapters, typically 7 chapters. Each chapter has 3 supporting arguments, stories, supporting messages to support the premise of the concept. So big concept, how to become a person of interest. Okay? From person of interest, I say, here are 7 chapters, 7 things that support this big concept of person of interest. Under each concept, right, I have 3 supporting concepts that support the whole. Now, why is that important? If someone calls me and says, hey, I want you to speak, if Catherine Bass or Brian King or Chastity King or Sherry Jobe call me and say, hey, we want you to speak on person of interest, I got 21 things to talk about, folks. I got my big concept, person of interest. I got 7 chapters. I got 21 concepts. I can go, you know what? Tonight I'm going to talk about this one concept. Now, you really need to buy the book to get everything that I've got. Okay. But I've got 7 chapters. And as a matter of fact, I also have a 2-day boot camp on my book, Person of Interest, which is true. Or I got a 2-day boot camp on my book, Flip the Switch. Or I got a 1-day event on my book, $1 Million Follow-Up, where I help you, right? So the book becomes a methodology. The book becomes a boot camp. The book becomes a framework. Today I was working with a big mortgage company. I'm initiating a new contract with them and we're gearing up for 2021. And I said, okay, I want your executives to go through Flip the Switch, Monster Growth Boot Camp, right? Turn your managers into coaches. I want your salespeople to go through Flip the Switch, Monster Growth Boot Camp, right? $1 Million Follow-Up, all these things, right? These are part of the system. They're all books, by the way. So I'm going to need your people to read the book. Boom. I'm going to need your people to come to the boot camps. Boom. I can do the boot camps virtual now. Boom. Or I can do them in person. Everybody see that? All started with one concept, one simple concept. Okay. So if you pay close attention tonight, I'm going to teach you, we'll be able to take the ideas in your mind and turn them into monetization. And monetization is, how do you make money with the book? Okay. But if you have a topic that's not strong enough, or it's lukewarm, or it's not powerful enough, or it's not interesting enough, just remember this: before you become famous, and that just means known, renowned, celebrated, and all of you will become famous in your life. Before you become famous, I want you to remember this concept. You need to position by concept, which means you create an incredible concept. Okay. I was on the phone today with Doug Peacock, who is on here with us tonight, and he's got a concept on a book. Okay. Be the bank is the concept. Okay. Be the bank. Okay. That's the concept. How do you be the bank? How many of you don't like bankers? Okay. Right. How do you become your own bank? That's the concept, right? Now, the question is, this is the concept. This is the book. Now I want to take the book and I want to drive people to the book for free or paid. I want to capture their information, and then I want to offer them something in the future. And that could be a strategy session, could be a 1 day, could be a 2 day, could be a boot camp. Okay. So when I'm talking about secrets, when you pay real close attention, what I'm really interested in is the monetization of a concept. The book is just a concept. Okay. Who knows what can happen when you have the concept? Doors will be open. Speaking opportunities will happen. Your person of interest score will go up. So just remember, you don't need more money. You need more people. The people have the money that you're looking for. The book gets you in front of people. Okay. And if you have a strong message, people are going to want to partner with you. Okay. What I teach at my $1 Million Coaching Summit is I teach you the monetization of a concept. Okay. How do you take this concept, speak on it, coach on it, train on it, lead on it, license on it, boot camps on it, strategic partnerships on it? How do you make money 12 different ways with this concept? Okay. And the concept is what? The book. So let's get to some of the secrets. Okay. First secret you need to know is something that I want to demystify for you, and that a book is a labor of love. Okay. And what I quickly figured out was that many people think that writing the book is very hard and complicated. They have concepts in their brain, but they can't take those concepts and put them onto paper. So think of it like this: mental constructs, ideas, to paper, to packaging by a designer or packaged up in a way you can absorb it, to a PDF, dressed up by a graphic designer, printed and made into a book. That is a book. I have an idea. Flip the switch. How do I activate the prey drive in people? Okay. What is prey drive? Chapter 1. What are the 3 components of prey drive? Chapter 2. How do you find your primary activators of prey drive? Chapter 3. There's 5 activators of prey drive. Chapter 4. Okay. What's the most common thing that suppresses prey drive? Boom. Chapter 5. See, I'm writing the book right in front of your face. All of that would be boom, 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 boom. Now under each one, I need to unpack each concept. So the first secret is that you have an idea or you have a book. Some of you have a book, but the monetization is a problem. Some of you just have ideas. The reason I created Monster Publishing was because so many people said, man, I have the ideas, but I don't know how to do it. I need somebody to coach me through it and pull the ideas out of me. We did this with my wife on her book, Living with the Monster, and we pull the ideas out of you. We package the book, and then we begin to help you finish the book, typically in 90 to 120 days. Okay. So if you have your concept for the book, as Gabby said, what I'd love to hear right now is position your concept. Show me what your concept is in the chat. And let's look at how strong your concept is tonight. Because the first step of writing a great book is having a killer concept. Okay. And it's really understanding that a book is not complicated. Let me demystify it for you. You have it inside of you. It's how do we extract it from you? Takes discipline, right? A book is a Word document packaged up and made pretty by a graphic designer so it can be absorbed. And when you hear me use the word absorbed, what I'm saying is, how can I take in your concept? How can I get your concept? Well, a book packages that up. Okay. So let's look at some of the concept. Faye Horton, Jana Truman. Let's see what you got here. Here comes the concepts, Gabby. How to get started investing in commercial real estate. I like that. Generational wealth through commercial real estate, because that's a complicated concept. Being overcautious prevents you from reaching your potential. Okay. That's the concept. 9 rules for successful living. Do the work, Tony Barnes. Conquer the mind bullies and transfer your life. Okay. How to thrive in transitions. This is important. Lori, I would go back and read the book on transitions by, okay, who wrote the book on transitions? It's an incredible book. Okay. And I recommend it. See, significance to success to happiness. Actually got significance before success. Interesting. How my traumatic brain injury, okay, can be greatest thing for you. How not to get scammed scam for lonely people. Interesting. That, I'm sure that's got a story behind it. Give up my white coat to a landlord with 50 units in 6 years. Look at you. Okay, so it looks like Kevin's got multiple books. Do not let your past define who you are. Here's one. Don't let your past hold your future hostage. How to use an organized barter system to reduce business overhead. Now that's interesting. Avoid the tax predators. Come on, Hubert. They're out there. Permission granted. That's a good one. Writing now. How to stay diligent during difficult times. Good. Choose life. Lori Maples. Stop giving up, giving in, giving over your power to choose. Okay. These are all concepts. Excellent. Okay. Now, here's a question. How strong is the concept? Okay. Has anybody else worked the concept? Do you have a new angle on the concept? So secret number 1 is to demystify the book, Cody Furlow, Freedom at What Cost? Ooh, that's a good topic. To demystify the concept of you have something inside of you. Now, dadgummit, it's time to get that something out. Okay, it's time to get that out versus keep it inside of you. Okay, there's a lot of books out there that you could write a better book than them. Okay, now here's what I'll tell you, man. I was once in your shoes. When I wrote my first book, I had no idea what I was doing. I sat down, I wrote the book out, and then thankfully, I had an aunt who was in the publishing world for a university, and she helped me package the book. And we actually sold the book on, in those days, it wasn't even Amazon. We published it at a publisher, instant publisher or something back in those days, right? But I wrote it, typed it up in a Word document, gave it to her. It didn't have the editing, it didn't have the flow, it didn't have the packaging, it didn't have the marketing that we would have today. Okay. So one of the best pieces of advice that came along was a person came along to me and said, "Hey, coach, I know you want to write a book. Why don't you think about writing a library of books?" Meaning, would you like to write a personal growth book? Yes. Would you like to write a business growth book? Yes. Would you like to write a coaching book? Yes. Would you like to write a sales book? Yes. Okay. Sit down and map out the whole library. You don't have to have the titles yet, but you do have to think about the series that you want to write. So secret number 1 is understanding I didn't start with 17 books. I started with 1 book and I didn't even know what I was doing, but writing the 1 book was so powerful. Now, I want to bring Gabby in here, Gabby Garrett, who's on my writing team. And I want to talk about why this is so important. The concept is so important. And again, Eric White is on here. So if you have any questions, with Eric White on my team, or you want to talk more about any of these things, what I want to do is I want to bring Gabby in. And Gabby, what I'd like to do here is I want you to talk about the power of the concept and why the concept is so critical, because this is important. If you don't have a good concept, folks, it's going to be hard to sell the book.
Okay. Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
I don't know if you can see me, but that's okay.
I can hear you.
Okay. So the concept is important because the concept is what creates followers. So at the recent publishing retreat, we talked about how to pre-game or pre-launch your concept. Because the worst thing in the world is to spend your whole, like Coach said, put your heart into your work and then drop the book out there and no one knew you were writing it. No one knew that you were an expert in this. So what we're really doing by creating the book and creating the concept is we're creating you in a position. And an overcrowded, over confused, as Coach says, ADD Red Bull society, you have to have something you stand for or no one will know how to buy from you or what to come to you for. So we have to be super, super clear with like, this is what you're saying. This is the book that's going to help you say it. And then throughout the writing process, especially with Andy and I, we give you marketing tips so that you can start to share that message. You can start to drip that content. So you are a person of interest and you are a thought leader and people are hungry for your book. So if that helps a little bit on the concept, it's really just firming your place in the marketplace so that you can attract the right people. It's like putting a light up sign outside of your door. This is what I do. This is what I stand for.
Now, I want to give you a marketing tip when it comes to the book. If you don't have a message that repels some people, you won't have a message that attracts the right people. And a lot of people have a lukewarm concept. Okay. And so when I look back at my best concepts, person of interest, big concept, flip the switch, big concept, $1 million follow-up, big concept, living with a monster, big concept. Okay. These are big concepts inside the mind of a monster. Okay. Now, the reason I'm telling you guys this is because I wrote a book many years ago called Small Towns and Big Dreams. And I grew up in a small town. So I thought, man, I've gone out into the world. I've done big things in the world. And man, other people in small towns want to do big things. Okay. So I write the book, Small Towns and Big Dreams, only to figure out there's very few people in small towns that actually have big dreams. Okay. And we didn't sell any copies of that book, folks. Okay. I think I gave away like 15,000 copies to local small towns, right? Because we couldn't sell any of the copies of the book. So some of you, the concept is important to you, but it ain't important to the market. I thought everybody in a small town wants to do something big. Well, folks, that ain't true. If I would have slowed down, did a little homework, asked some key folks, how will this book sell? There may have been people said, look, I know that's a good idea for you, but it ain't a good idea, right? But it ain't a good idea for everybody else. Okay. So this is why I'm telling you the first secret to publishing, man, you need a great concept. Think about this. Good to great, incredible concept. 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, incredible concept. First things first, great concept. Atomic Habits, great concept. 10X, great concept. These are great concepts. Okay. But until you have a great concept, everything else is like, why would I pick it up? Now, many of you have heard me tell the story of me writing the book, Zebras and Cheetahs. And I thought, man, I'm going to be so cool. I'm going to write a book called Zebras and Cheetahs. A zebra looks different than every other animal in the animal kingdom. Right. Right. And here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to write a book called Zebras and Cheetahs. And everybody that goes to the bookstore is going to know a zebra looks different than every other animal in the animal kingdom, and a cheetah runs faster. Okay. People were so confused by that book. People would ask me, now, does the cheetah eat the zebra? Or, right, is it a kid's book because it had a part zebra, part cheetah? Folks, don't complicate it. The message is simple. It should have been look different and run faster. How to look different and run faster in the business jungle. That's what the book should have been. So big mistake on my part. Okay. Now, here's what you may be thinking. Look, I want to write my book, but I don't know how to do it. Okay. I want to write my book, but I don't know how to do it. Here's what I tell you. You can do it, folks. You can do it. Okay. First thing you got to know is the book will not write itself. You got to get started. Okay. And let me give you an example. A guy in Houston, Texas, in our coaching program, wanted to write a book and didn't know where to start, didn't know what to do, brought our publishing division along, hired us to help him. Every morning would take a long walk, not transcribe, but dictate into his phone what he wanted to say, send it to our team. Our team packages it up into a book. Within 60 to 90 days, that dude's got a book. It's on Amazon. It's out in the market. He's got his hands on it. He's a financial advisor. He actually is not a financial advisor. He uses certain strategy and products. So you may be thinking, man, this is complicated. Look, publishing and distribution from your brain to something that we can absorb to a piece of paper, to a PDF, dressed up by a designer, pop that puppy out to the market. Now I've got the asset. You have the intellectual property in your mind. What we have to do is get that IP out to the world. How many of you think that it is your duty, it is your obligation, it is your responsibility to share your message with the world, whether one person reads it or 10,000 people read it? Okay, you're going to see tonight that one of the biggest coaching contracts I ever signed was because somebody walked into a bookstore in Houston, Texas, picked up a copy of my book, Everybody Needs a Coach in Life, absolutely loved it, took it to the owner of the company. They flew me to Houston the next week. I signed a $250,000 contract. Boom, 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 within a week like that. Okay, that is the concept, folks. You got it in you. Okay, so let's talk about this. You got the intellectual property. Let's talk about self-publishing. Self-publishing is when you own the entire project. Okay, self-publishing a book is when you own the project. Either you write the book or you let someone like our team help you write the book, but you own the book. You own 100% of the book. Okay, you pay for the printing of the book, you pay for the shipping of the book, like you own it. Now here's the good part about wanting to write a book, about self-publishing. You own it. Nobody can tell you where to put it. Nobody can tell you what to sell it for. Nobody can tell you how many copies. Okay, so self-publishing is where you own the entire project, from writing, editing, designing, printing, marketing, and distribution of the book. That's self-publishing. Okay, I have self-published 14 of my books. Now I allow my publishing division, that's Andy Garrison and Gabby Garrett, to basically take my content and package it up and write the book or transcribe the book for me, like my book, Legacy Selling. I did videos on it. They packaged my book, Legacy Selling, and videos. They transcribed it. They put it into a book. Boom. Now I've got a book. I used that book to generate 3,000 leads in less than 90 days and make over $100,000 in less than 90 days with a book I spent less than 1 hour on. Everybody hear me say that? Okay. So I had the videos. They took my book, they transcribed it, they packaged it, they made it pretty. I spent 1 hour writing stories. I used the book in a marketing funnel to create 3,000 leads and make $100,000 in 90 days. I own 100% of that book. That's called self-publishing. Okay. So focus on the word own. You own it when you self-publish. Okay. And if you're trying to get a book out fast, 90 days, 120 days, 3 months, then the only option you have is self-publishing. Okay. Now, when you go through the publishing process, okay, then somebody else owns your book and you get a royalty. Okay. Now, this is very hard for a first-time author to get a publishing deal, unless you have 100,000 followers or 10 or 200,000 followers on YouTube and Instagram and Facebook. There's very little chance as a first-time author that you're going to get a major publishing deal. I did not get a publishing deal until maybe my fourth or fifth book. I had self-published 3 to 4. I then found a person to broker a deal with an agent. The agent then goes and brokers a deal with the publisher. The publisher then makes an offer to you on becoming your publishing partner. Everybody see that? Now, this is not an easy process, folks. Okay. This is not easy. Okay. So I have an agent in New York City. The agent takes my script, my manuscript, they pitch it to publishers, they get turned down. And then certain publishers said, I would like to make an offer to Coach Burt to publish his book. What they're really doing is they're buying the rights to my book. Okay. And they own it. So Lori Maples, why would I sell the rights to my book? Because they could get the book in Barnes and Nobles, in airports. You cannot get a self-published book in Barnes and Nobles and airports. Okay. And because of that, I am in a part of my career where I want to be known. I want to be famous. I need to know more people in the world. And to me, signing a major book deal with McGraw-Hill or Random House or Penguin is a part of the equation. Okay. But this is a long, long road to go. Okay. And you really need followers. Okay. Gabby is right. Local Barnes and Nobles will allow local authors to put their self-published books in certain areas of the bookstore. And you can do that. Okay. What I would like to do is show you how to use a book to generate lots of leads for you so that you could sell those people your coaching services, or you can generate other divisions of your company. Okay. Now, I want to stop right there and I want to talk about this. Okay. Because here's a question from Chastity King. Can you self-publish a book and then later have it published? And the answer is yes. Okay. Actually, Sharon Lecter and I are good friends. Sharon co-wrote the book Rich Dad Poor Dad with Robert Kiyosaki. They sold millions of copies self-published, and then a publisher came to them and said, I'd like to publish the book. So if you go and say, I self-published, I've sold 20,000 copies of this book, would you like to pick it up? Then the answer is yes. A major publisher could pick it up and take it from there. Or sometimes they said, no, you've missed the window. You self-published. Just keep self-publishing and let's write another book if you showed a demonstrated capacity. Okay. Now, so the first secret, or really the second secret I gave you, is I want to write a book, but I don't know how. But see, we've solved that problem. We've solved that problem because we have a division that can help you write the book and get the book out in 90 days. Okay. The second problem you have is I got a book, but I don't know how to make money with the book. And we've solved that problem because we teach you how to do that at our $1 Million Coaching Summit in January, or at our Monster Publishing Retreat. We show you the monetization of a book. Okay. Now, let me give you the next secret. You don't believe you can achieve the same results as someone else. It's easy for me to look at a Dr. Covey, a John Maxwell, a Tony Robbins, a Grant Cardone, or Gary Vaynerchuk. And it's easy for me to step back and go, oh, I could never sell as many copies as them. I'm not as famous as them. You may be thinking, man, I can't write 16 books like Coach Burt did. Well, 16 books started by writing one book and learning the process. That one book opened up in my mind the power of having a book. Okay. Because now I had a message, and a message is a point of view. And at the end of the day, what people are paying you for is they are paying you for your point of view. They're paying you for your message that's inside of you that can help other people. They're paying you for your point of view that can solve their problem. We were having some challenges with our daughter, Ella Grace, and not because she's in trouble a lot, but she's very strong-willed. And we would ground her, or we would spank her, or we would do whatever to, right? And I'm like, man, that's the problem. How do we solve this problem? I go down to the bookstore and I buy a book called How to Have a New Kid by Friday. Okay. And I'm reading this book by Dr. Kevin Leman, and he gives you tactics, and he gives you strategies, and he gives you how-tos. When she rolls her eyes, you do this. When she talks back, you do this. When she stomps her feet, you do this. When she slams the door, you do this. And it worked. And then I went to his website, and it's like, oh, he's got a 2-day program. He's got certified coaches. He's got how to have a new teenager by Friday. He's got parenting courses. He's got, right, schools in Arizona where, like, his own charter schools. Like, look at what the book did. Open your mind. Just writing the book is not the end of the equation, folks. Writing the book is, like Gabby said, it is boom. It is a stake in the ground. Okay. Okay. So that is what we're trying to do, is we're trying to, boom, open the door to future possibility. So the book is a point of view. Okay. Now, you may believe there are external factors that could be limiting you from even believing this is possible. Let me give you some examples, and I'll bring Andy Garrison in for this. And this is how easy this can be. Okay. Because I want to demystify you. Okay. Andy Garrison is on my publishing team, and he came to one of my boot camps. He's been in my coaching program for several years now. He was in my online academy, and Andy came into the program and he tripled his business. Okay. And I'm doing this publishing summit or boot camp or something. And Andy comes to me and he hands me a manila folder. And in that manila folder, he said, Coach, here is your book on legacy selling. And I look at him and I go, Andy, I haven't written a book yet on legacy selling. Like, I know it's my selling system, but I haven't written the book on legacy selling. And he said, yeah, you have written the book on legacy selling. Here it is, Coach. And I'm like, are you kidding me? Like, what do you mean? And I opened the manila folder and it's a PDF document, X number of pages long, and it said Legacy Selling by Coach Micheal Burt, how to create more leads, build deeper networks, close more deals. That's my concept, legacy selling. It's my book, okay? My words. He said, yeah, what I did, Coach, is I went into your online academy and I transcribed your videos and I had packaged them into a book. Here's 3 cover options for you. We can take this book to print, have it on your website. We can do that in less than 30 days. And in less than 30 days, I sat down, I read the book, and I'm like, dang, this is good. And guess why? It was my content from my own videos. And I'm like, who wrote this? Oh, I did. But I didn't write it. I said it on videos. And he packaged it up. And I went in one day while I was here in Florida, at the house in Florida, and I added 2 or 3 stories. I spent less than 1 hour on this book, and boom, had the book finished. Andy, how does that happen?
I mean, like you say, Coach, everybody's got a message, right? Everybody's got a story to tell, and we all have concepts inside of us. So it's a function of drawing those out of you. I think it's something Gabby and I and you have put together a good system on to be able to pull that out of people. But we just kind of take what's in your head, get it on a paper, and figure out how do we use this to open doors and kind of build authority, right? Authority in there.
So if a person is on here, Rebecca Davis, Gabby will reach out to you on how we do the book process. Because what I've done, Rebecca Davis, is I've created a little team of all-stars. Andy is what I call a tactician. He's taking content and packaging that content. And he knows how to make you an authority. He knows how to make it a bestseller on Amazon. He knows how to do that. Gabby's the media director. She knows how to come up with concepts and flash and sizzle. Then I put this little team together and I say, look, I need a book on this concept. Okay. Andy, how long does that book typically take when you package somebody's content? So you got Rebecca Davis here who says, I may want a book. How do you, how long does it typically take from start to finish on this?
From the day we start to the day it's a bestseller on Amazon, if you're ready to go, and we all stick to it, about 90 days.
Now, let me ask you something, folks. When you're thinking about this concept of what I'm telling you, and I'm sitting there and I'm showing you that I used to go away for months and months and months, weekends, nights. I would go somewhere to lock myself up in an inspirational place, sit there and write the book. It was so laborious. Like, I was like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna pull my hair out. That's right, I don't have any hair. And I would write these books and I'd be like, oh gosh, this is miserable. And then Andy comes along and said, Coach, I wrote the book for you. The book can be out in less than 90 days. I'm like, bingo. Andy, how can we do this for monster producers? How can we do this from our coaching program? And that's really why we started the monster publishing division. And what it does is it speeds up the process. So Rebecca Davis, Gabby, make sure you're emailing Rebecca Davis here. Okay. I want to make sure you guys are in there. Rebecca, or make sure you reach out, Gabby at coachburt.com, GABI. She can get you scheduled for a session to just do a strategy call on how we can do that for you. So Andy, this process, it's all in their mind, but you got to pull it out of their mind, right or wrong?
Absolutely. They're the author. We just help them get it out. We help them package it up and we help them get it working for them.
Okay. Now, all right. So Andy, thank you for that. Now, when you're thinking about this and you're sitting there and you're looking at it, remember, here's the objections you're going to say to me. Okay. I don't know how to do it. Don't need to know how, because we're telling you how. Number 2, you don't believe you can do it. Listen, if I can do it, I was a very average English student. A lot of people say, man, I'm not a writer. I'm not a good writer. I don't know how to write that well, but I have something to say. Hey, you don't have to be a great English student, folks. I've written 16 books, X number of bestsellers, and I was a very average English student. I'm a much better communicator than I am writer. Okay. Number 1 thing is you don't believe you can. Number 1 reason people fail because they don't believe they can do it. Therefore, they don't do it. Number 3, you believe there are external limits that are prohibiting your success. You don't know until you write the book. Now, I want to go back and I want to answer a question. Okay. We're currently taking all authors first come, first serve. So if you're interested in that, Jody, I like that authority. That's exactly right. Okay. Now, when you're thinking about this concept, I want to go back to a question that came up earlier. Okay. Phil Mills said the first book is one seed to a garden of great harvest. I like that. I like that. I like the concept there. Eric, does your publishing company publish books other than self-help business? Yes. When it comes to Eric, our publishing company is more of a writing company, and we help write and package the book for you. Okay. And what we do is we extract that, just like Andy just said, we extract the gold from you. We extract those acres of diamonds inside of you. And then we package that concept up. And then we get it up on Amazon. We send it to the printer. You decide how many you want to buy. And that puppy shows up at your house 90 days later. Boom, you got your first book. Now, when you have that book, now we're cooking with grease, as we like to say in the South, right? Because now we have an asset. And you're sitting there saying, well, how much does it cost? It's going to cost a lot of money. No. When I show you how to make money with the book, what I do is I show you how to take this asset and make $100,000 with it in 90 days. I show you how to take it and build your first coaching program. I show you how to take it and get your big coaching contract. I show you how to use the message and get on stages to speak. Okay. I show you how to become an authority in your field. That's what I show you how to do once you have the asset. So Gabby and Andy help you write the book. I show you how to make money with the book. Okay. And we did 1.3 million in sales in the month of October. We're right at 500,000 in sales this month. There's very few coaches in the world, folks, that are doing those kind of numbers. I mean, that's 1.8 million in the last 2 months of this year, in the middle of COVID, in the middle of a pandemic, in the middle of a crazy world, in the middle of an election, in the middle of everything. So I know how to take your asset, which is the book, and make money with it. Okay. Now you take Tony Barnes, he's got his book. You take Doug Peacock, he's got his book. Now, what I do at the $1 Million Coaching Summit is I show you how to make money with the book. Okay. Because it's of no value to have a book and not know how to make money with it. So you start thinking, how do we take this asset? Now, first thing you're going to get when you write this book, let me just tell you, folks, and it's an intangible. It's not money. It's an increase in confidence. Okay. It's an increase in confidence. When you write your first book, you're going to raise your person of interest score. Your own internal confidence is going to go up because you've put your philosophy on paper. This is so much stronger than a business card. You are now becoming an expert. You are now being thought of as an expert in your field. You are now becoming an authority figure. You are now opening doors. This is what the book will do for you when you have the book. Okay. Now, who is this for? For any person who wants to write a book. Right? That's why you're here with me. Okay. Now, here's the stats, folks. 81% of Americans say they want to write a book. That's 200 million people in America say they want to write a book. Less than 10% of books will ever sell more than 5,000 copies. So let's go back to the concept. You don't know how. We're solving that problem for you because we got a publishing division that can help you write the book. Okay. Number two, you don't know how to make money with the book. We're solving that problem for you because we do a publishing retreat for our authors that write a book with us, and we do a $1 Million Coaching Summit. Okay. So what we're really doing is we're going, hey, you got two problems here. One, you don't know how to get the book out. We're going to solve that. Number two, you don't know how to make money with the book. We're going to solve that problem for you. Now, this is what I'm going to show you next. Okay. If you got questions, please put them in the chat. Okay. Because when you get in there, let's see what we got here. If you don't have your concept nailed, that's okay. We'll help you get the right message. That's what Andy said. The seed has to be planted, first the blade, then the ear, then the full corn. That's right, Chastity. Kelly, Eric, let's chat tomorrow. Okay. I have 80% of my book written in the cover design. Good for you. What we'll do is we'll help you take that book to market, Kelly. Very important, because I don't want you to have a book and not make money with it. I want to show you how to make a lot of money with the book. Now, let me show you a quick secret that I use, how to use the book as a lead magnet. Okay. Now I'm going to share my screen with you for just a second, and I'm going to show you something that could be very powerful. Okay. Now, this is from a session I just did not long ago. Okay. Now, let me pull this up here and pull this thing up and show you something. If you go to my website and you go to coachburt.com, I want to show you how we use books. If you look at the store right here, okay, when you go to my store, okay, it shows you that many of my books are listed for what? Free. Look at that. Inside the Mind of a Monster, Swag, Person of Interest. This is the book that my publishing division wrote right here, Legacy Selling. This is the book I spent less than an hour on, right here. Okay, we use this book to generate 3,000 leads, 3,000 leads in 90 days by driving people to the website. Boom, clicking on there. This takes them to a funnel, a click funnel. This tells them more about the book. Look right here, reserve my free copy, but it's not free. It's $9.99. Okay, so basically a person comes in, buys the book for $10. We ship them the book, and guess what we have now? We have their name, we have their address, we have their phone number, we have everything we need to know. Plus, we know what they're interested in. Okay, if they go on my website and they buy this book, we know they're interested, right, in getting their money to a higher level. If they get this book, we know they're interested in being a coach. There's that Small Towns and Big Dreams. Hey, we can't give that puppy away. We're selling it for 20 bucks. Now, free, look at that, $1 Million Follow-Up. This takes you to a page where we collect your data. And next thing you know, boom, now we're using the book. This is what I was telling you today, Doug Peacock. This is a landing page. We're driving people to get the book. And when they do, now we have their information. And when we have their information, we can call them and we can say, hey, I'm interested. Okay, I'm interested in working with you. Did you know I do a 1-day retreat on $1 Million Follow-Up? Everybody see that? So when you're thinking about this concept, folks, the way I'm using the book there is I'm creating a book. The book is now an asset. The asset is used to generate leads. The leads could be worth way more than a $10 book. Like, you do understand that, right? Like, the purpose of the book, this is a lead magnet. Got a book, drive people to it, people purchase it, and then they can take action on it. Okay. Now, okay, did you see that, Bob Ritchie? Could you see that when I just posted it right there? Okay. Okay, I don't see your screen, not seeing the screen, not screen. Okay, blank screen, not get scammed for lonely people. All right. Okay, so you guys could not see the screen there? Okay, because I shared my screen. I was trying to figure out. Yes, you could see it, or no, you couldn't see it. Okay. All right. There we go. Let's see here. It says I'm screen sharing, but I don't know if you could see that. Okay. And if you don't, I don't know why, but nonetheless, I'll come back here and come back and show you there. Okay. All right. Now, here's what okay. Now you can see it now. Okay. All right. Let me try it again then. All right. So there you go. Right. What I'm showing you, what I was showing you folks, is I was showing you that I use a book to generate leads, and the leads can make, these where millions of dollars are. Okay. So when a person buys one of my books, they go right here into my CRM. Okay. Look at this. Purchase Legacy Selling, flip the switch, purchase $1 Million Follow-Up. So let's click on that. Okay. Purchase $1 Million Follow-Up. There's the person's name, email, phone number. We know exactly what they purchased. We could call them right now and say, hey, we know you purchased the book $1 Million Follow-Up. Do you have any questions? Look at how many people have purchased these books. 866. 1,686 people have went there but didn't buy the book. Look at that. 256 people have bought a book. Now they're interested in something else. Now look at this, folks. That little $10 book is now worth $200,000. Look at how much money is in the pipeline. Look here, 583,000. Look here, 266,000. There's $1 million of names, emails, and phone numbers right here. Every time a person buys one of my books on my website that I publish, I own the rights to it. It goes right there to that CRM system. Okay. And this is what we would teach you at my $1 Million Coaching Summit. So we would show you how to build the book. How do we build the funnel? How do we build the landing page? How do we build the CRM? How do we call people and sell them a coaching service from this right here? Everybody see that? See, just while we've been talking, people have been buying the books right now. Everybody see that? So they come in and they go through the entire system. Now, this is how you make money with the books, folks. Okay. And so when you're thinking about this concept, Kenneth and Phil and Doug and Christy, I'm trying to broaden your horizon on how to generate money with a book. Okay. Now, here's what I'd like for you to do right now. If you have interest in our publishing division, just doing a free strategy session with Gabby or Andy on your book, how to bring that book to market, how to package it, I want you to type in right now in the chat box. Okay. If you have interest right now in just doing a strategy session with them. So Gabby, I want you to write these down and make sure you have these. You got Cynthia, Lori, Phil, Sandra. Okay. I want you to, okay, Ken Wilson. What I want to do is I want to schedule a strategy session. So another way to do this is I want you to email Gabby@CoachBurt.com. Okay. To make sure we get everybody. Okay. Gabby, G-A-B-I, Gabby, just type that in there. Gabby@CoachBurt.com. Okay. So if you will email Gabby@CoachBurt.com right now, what we'll do is schedule a strategy session with you to talk about your book and how our publishing division can help you package that book and bring it to life. If you have a book, okay, but you don't know how to make money with the book, I want you to email Eric@CoachBurt.com, Eric@CoachBurt.com, and he's going to talk to you and schedule a time for you to talk about my $1 Million Coaching Summit. Okay. If you want to make money with the book, then Eric White, Eric@CoachBurt.com will schedule a time to talk with you about my $1 Million Coaching Summit that's coming up in January, because I want to show you how to have a $1.3 million month, folks. I want to show you how to do 500,000 in a month. I want to show you the secrets that I use, because I'm going to be honest with you. I wouldn't go with this alone. I would not try to do this on your own, folks. It's too complicated. It can take too long. It'll be too hard. I really want to encourage you to let somebody who's written 17 books and made millions of dollars with the book. I want to encourage you to invest in something like that so we can come along beside you and get this thing out, man, and help you make money with it. So let me finish with some questions. There's two things that we're offering you tonight. One is a strategy session with Gabby on our publishing team to visit with you about packaging and your book up, extracting it out of you, making you into a person of interest. Eric@CoachBurt.com can talk to you about coming to my coaching summit and learning how to make money with the speaking. Okay. You may have a message, you may have a concept, you may even have a book, folks, but if you ain't making any money with it, then I would strongly encourage you, come and learn and spend 2 or 3 days with me at the lodge, learning how to make money with the book. The monetization of a concept is so powerful. I don't want to see you be the starving artist. I don't want to see you be the broke person that's got a great concept, but nobody knows about. I got to teach you how to market. I got to teach you how to promote. And more importantly, I got to teach you the secrets that are out there. So, two things. What questions do you have for me tonight? Okay. The investment in our coaching summit will be well worth it. Some of you have gone through my coaching summit. If you want to speak, coach, train, lead, then Eric@CoachBurt.com will be the right play for you. If you want to let us help you package your book, get it up on Amazon, make it a bestseller, Gabby@CoachBurt.com, Gabi@CoachBurt.com. She will schedule a strategy session with you and show you how our publishing process works to bring that book to life. Okay. So we're interested. We want to help you, folks. Why would I do this when I'm down here on I don't even know what night is it, Tuesday night or Thursday night, unless I wanted to help you. I believe you got a song to sing, and I believe you got people to sing that song to. Biggest mistake I've seen people make on this is what I did on my first 2 books, James. Yes, there is a replay, James. And if you will email us Okay. If you will email eric@coachburt.com, he can get you that email, the replay of this. Biggest mistake I made, folks, is at 25 years old, I wrote a book. I had no idea what I was doing. I didn't have a coach. I didn't know how to package it. I didn't know how to sell it. And we might have sold, I don't know, a couple hundred copies at best. The good news is it got in the hands of people. They brought me in to speak. From that, I secured coaching assignments, speaking engagements, and man, it was literally the best thing I ever did. If I would have had Gabby and Andy 15 years ago, there's no telling. I'd probably have 40 books versus 17 books. So that was a mistake. What? Okay. And what's it worth to have somebody right there pulling it out of you? What's it worth to have somebody helping you package your concept? What's it worth to know how to make money, Sherry Job? What's it worth to know these things, right? And all I can do is teach from what I've learned. Okay, so we definitely want to help you. So I got time for 2 or 3 questions. I'm doing another webinar tonight at 7:30 for a lot of insurance folks. So if you got a question for me on anything, how I make a book a bestseller, how I signed a major publishing deal, anything that you want to go. The retreat is in April. Okay, Rebecca. If the book retreat is in April of this year, it's called Monster Publishing, and Eric White can get you that. It looks like that one is on April. Oh, it's on tax day, April 15th and 16th. Also, the $1 Million Coaching Summit is January 12th through 14. Okay, so if you want to learn how to make money with your coaching or your book, 12 through 14 at my lodge. You can see that at coachburt.com, and Eric White can have that for you. The publishing retreat at the lodge is April 15 and 16, 2021. And many times if you work the book with us or our publishing team helps you with the book, we basically give you the publishing retreat if you write the book with us. So guys, I want to thank you for tonight. $1 Million Coaching Summit. Andy was the second best decision he's ever made. First was the book that Coach told me to write. There we go. Thank you, Andy Garrison. Okay. Actually, can I get your retreat schedule for next year that have for sure locked in? Absolutely. Rebecca Davis. Eric White can give you my complete schedule is already booked. You can see that at Coach Burt. I'm going to show you when you can do that. .com. You can see all of my retreats right there. CoachBurt.com/events. Okay, James, I'm going to plug in, write my book, start a coaching program. Need your help. Okay, James, Eric, if you will reach out to James on here, I think we can help James with his coaching business and we can help him with his book. So Eric White will reach out to you on that. Eric will reach out to you, Rebecca, on our full schedule. My schedule is done for the first quarter of 2021. So we will be happy to help you there. Okay. Pastor Ken, love you. Okay. Phil Mills, we will have a future together. Love you too, man. Thank you for being on here tonight. Okay. Chastity, if one wants to self-publish, has it written, package, and even a graphic design, what would be the next step is publishing. Gabby at coachburt.com. Chastity would be right for you. She can launch your book. Her and Andy can launch your book or relaunch your book. Okay. So some of you have a book that's been out 2 or 3 years, but it hasn't made money. Gabby at coachburt.com can help you relaunch the book. Some of you, like my book, The Accountable Church, I haven't even launched it yet. I wrote it. It's out there, but it hasn't even really been launched appropriately. And that'll be the next book. One of the books that we come out with. Okay. We got to relaunch Zebras and Cheetahs. Well, that one's on a publishing deal. So I don't know if we can relaunch Zebras and Cheetahs because I don't own the rights to that one. Lori, thank you. Thank you for being on our coaching program and being coachable. Okay. Llamas and Emas. Yep. That'd be a good one. Okay. Paul, thank you. Okay. Paul Buckley, chatting with Gabby. That's right. Have to run. Accountable Church. Thank you, Pastor Ken. All right, folks. This has been a good night tonight. Thank you so much for joining us. I appreciate you. Remember this. You got a song to sing, Herbert, and you got people to sing that song to. So please don't keep this book inside of you. If you could help you in any way, then just email us. Gabby at coachburt.com, Eric at coachburt.com. Everybody needs a good coach in life. Thank you for spending some time with me tonight. God bless you. And I hope you have an incredible Thanksgiving. Write that book, folks. Write that book. Write that book. Okay. God bless you.